We are here today with Dr. Rohantha Athukorala, Harvard alumni and policy analyst. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Dr. Rohantha, the government keeps repeating that it wants Sri Lanka to be an international hub for education. Well, what are the prospects of it happening in the near future?
I think it's quite strong because we overall have about 380,000 people who do their O levels, and then from there we have about 266,000 who do the A levels. Around 63% of the people who do A levels qualify for university studies, of which about 30,000 get into the state universities, while the rest would work with the private university system. Apart from this, you also have almost 10,000 students who go overseas to study, which is around $3 billion, whilst there is also another about $10 billion that Sri Lanka can earn by focusing on the students within the region. Namely, you have Maldives, you have Bangladesh, you might have people coming in from India, people coming in from the different parts of Pakistan. So, you tend to be a regional player, and I would say being a regional hub for education is very much on the cards. Now, what some people do not understand is that this market is worth about 150 billion or 150 billion Sri Lankan rupees, and from a dollar perspective you have another about 3 billion coming from the people who are going abroad to study, and of course, another about 10 billion coming from the people whom we can attract. So, it is quite a large market that is there in the country, of which I think the most important challenge that we have to understand is that we need to have some world class universities been set up, and we currently have 7 universities which are in the state, which is Jawaharlal, Colombo University, Moratuwa, Kelaniya, Peradeniya, Rohana and Jaffna, which are in the world ranking. And let's be real, the quality of teaching that is there is very strong, and the kind of output that you get is second to none. But then we also have to start making sure that the new products that must be available is launched in the system. Like for instance, you have this whole thing of where artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence helps you in brand mapping and driving strategy. You might have a new thing that has happened is because of the economic crisis, you have the number of households who buy different products and services changing, and that dynamics to study, you have a need for someone to understand business analytics. You have business ethics, which has become very pivotal in today's world, which is driven by global entities in terms of diversity, in terms of inclusion, in terms of people also feeling that they are part of organization. You have certain other products or qualifications which are required, which is like new venture creation. So, there is a whole array of things that have to be done for us to become a hub. It is not only just to say that there is money in the marketplace, but we also have to make sure that certain requirements are put in perspective.
Doctor, what are like the challenges faced by this industry?
See, it is twofold. One happens to be that you have the government sector, where almost 2.4% of the GDP is allocated for the development of the education sector, and there is some good things that are happening, like for instance, the policy reform has been approved by the cabinet, and with that policy reform you are looking at almost 5,450 people who will be recruited as teachers in science, maths, English, foreign languages and technological studies. Then of course, you also have certain other facilities that are required, like the laboratories, the hostel facilities, the R&D facilities, and if you really want to make this real, you have to make sure that the university system is linked to the private sector. If this link is not happening, you'll have people working in silos. So, globally you have this thing called new product development houses which are there. So, that when a university graduate has an idea and you have that concept which has showed some kind of commercial viability, that idea is taken to a new product development house and they would develop the product and then it's sold to a private sector company. And sometimes the private sector company would be actually sponsoring that innovation, so that then we become an innovative nation. Now, for that you need the quality teaching, you need the infrastructure like I was telling, the laboratory, the new product development facilities, and thirdly of course, we also find that we also have certain amount of social challenges which are there when people have to travel in far universities which are far away from their home, which means the hostel facilities, the socio-psychological support that you need to be given to the students. So, that is on the government side, but on the private sector side, the recent budget allocated I think 4 schools to be moved into a university status. Now, that is a good move, but then with that you have to make sure that the infrastructure is right in terms of moderating, in terms of making sure the quality assurance is done. So, right now I think the Ministry of Higher Education and the Ministry of Education has put together a program to moderate all these qualifications in terms of the teaching quality, in terms of the syllabi, in terms of syllabi coverage, and then how they could be groomed to fit into the private sector. So likewise there is a lot of good things that have been come into play, but we need to now start making sure that it is moved it has to be implemented, because as you know, out of 2023 budget, almost 68% of the key projects there is no data. Out of 25 key projects that were implemented, of which almost 18 there is no absolute data to be looked at. So it is not just only putting things in the budget, but making sure that it is implemented is the challenge that we also have to, I suppose, shoulder.
Thank you for joining us, Dr. Rohantha Athukorala. For the Business Bus team, I am int'l.